Hello and welcome back to Second Take Movies, a podcast where we give movies a second look, second chance, second take, if you will. I'm your host, Preston Jenkinson, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Jake Dwighto.
Hey, bing bong, another Robin
Bing
Hood.
bong. Robin of the Hood.
Robin Hood's supposed to be a fun character, right?
It can
Let me
be.
just break it down like this: Robin Hood and Little John, Robin Hood and Forrest. What are we doing here, guys? What are we doing?
It's a different take, you know.
Ridley Scott lore. I mean, I forgot he did this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I watched 20 minutes of it and said, "This is a Ridley Scott movie." And then looked it up and went, "Oh, it's a Ridley Scott movie."
Because it opens with a huge battle, and
looks just like Gladiator.
I mean, he's one of my favorite directors. Like you know what you're
he's great. Yeah, sorry, I'm not
into with
him
him
when I say that.
Yeah,
he's got a vibe.
Yeah, definitely. This one, for the story this week, this one starts with opening title crawls with like explaining what's going on. So I decided to use that for the story this week. So
look at you.
In times of tyranny and injustice, when law oppresses the people, the outlaw takes his place in history. King Richard the Lionheart, bankrupt of wealth and glory, is plundering his way back to England after 10 years on his crusade. In his army is an archer named Robin Longstride. This is the story of his return home, where for defending the weak against the strong, he will be condemned to live outside the law.
Yeah,
we don't get into much of like Robin Hood being Robin Hood in this movie.
It's like this is like a prequel.
Yeah, this is like
I assume they meant to make another movie, but it did so bad that they did.
I don't even think they meant to make another movie. I think this was the movie they wanted to make.
I mean, it ended. There was no next time.
Right.
So, makes sense.
Positive review. Lawrence Topman from the Charlotte Observer. Every era...
there we go.
Yeah. The local person. Every era gets the Robin Hood it needs. Now, director Ridley Scott and writer Brian Hedgelin have given us an intelligent, layered story suited to our grim, patience-trying times. And that was from 2010.
Brian Hedgelin wrote A Knight's Tale, by the way.
Ooh, that's a good movie. I love that movie.
I love it. It's so good, man. It's perfect.
Our negative review, Joe Newmeyer from the New York Daily News. The problem with Russell Crowe's new take on the legend is that it has one muddy boot in history and the other in fantasy. The middling result is far from a bullseye.
I'm sorry, but Robin Hood's not real. This is all fantasy.
Yeah, like this whole thing is a legend. That's the whole point of Robin Hood.
Yeah, not Robin da Hood, but Robin Hood. Oh, that's so dumb. I'm gonna crawl in a hole. Yeah, like you said, the sucker starts with a big fight.
Mm-hmm.
Got some solid archery right away. I do enjoy that. Oh, there's a lot of people named Robin apparently, so this works out.
Yeah,
I guess I'm skipping ahead slightly, but that King Richard that is parading around doing a crusade.
Mm-hmm.
He gets pegged. I'm probably skipping ahead to stuff.
Well, I mean,
he gets pegged out.
It spends a lot of time like meandering through what life is like in the 12th century in an army that's leading a crusade. There's stuff in the camps, and they spend a long time outside of castles trying to burn them down to get into them. And he's basically an archer.
And I guess we get the like Mark Strong introduction.
Yeah,
we get key players that pop up random. I don't know. That's one thing about this movie is like you get introduced to people, they're not there at all. Then all of a sudden they are. Then they're there again.
Yep.
But, I just described the movie.
Yeah. we basically meet through this whole time. We meet the main crew. We've got Little John. We've got Will Scarlet. And we've got the other guy. I don't know who the other guy is. I forgot.
Alan Adale.
Okay.
Is the other guy? He's in a band called Great Big Sea.
Well, what
the main guy that's like plays instruments and stuff.
Yeah, just
His real name is Alan Doyle.
Oh.
No, Alan Doyle is his character. His real
Alan
name is
Adale.
Alan Adale. Yeah.
No, his character's name is Alan Adale. His real name is Alan Doyle.
Okay. Yep. They're pretty much the same.
Yeah. They probably did that on purpose.
Yeah, he's not an actor, so they definitely helped him out. He was great though. I loved him.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite characters. Just
but basically, like you said, the king gets a arrow through the throat and dies on the battlefield. But like before that, he finds Robin Hood in the camp and deems him as like an honest dude. And then Robin Hood talks to the king honestly, and then the king puts him in stocks with his crew. And he's like, you know what? I'm out of here. And then the next day, the king dies. And the king's people get ambushed on the way back to England.
Did his son set that up?
Whose son?
Do I remember that right? King Richard's son. Didn't he?
He doesn't have a son.
Who's Oscar Isaac?
That's his brother.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm stupid.
Because they mentioned like
he sets it up there, right? King John.
No, he does not. He doesn't.
Okay. I thought he set up with Mark Strong, kill the king. I want to be king.
Okay. Mark Strong is betraying the country of England the whole time. This was all orchestrated by the Prince of France, the King of France.
I started the first part of this very late at night, so there's a bit of a blur of.
Gotcha.
I was falling asleep, but
yeah.
Okay. Understood. All right, we're good.
Yeah, no. Mark Strong is playing Godfrey, which I think is an original character for this. I don't know if he's a Robin Hood character or not.
By the way, I don't know if you know this or not, but Mark Strong's a villain in this movie.
Yeah. Like, because if he's in your movie. Yeah, if he's in your movie. I mean, he also
Rock and Rolla.
Yeah, he plays Carmine Falcone in The Penguin.
God, I gotta watch that.
It's just one episode, but because
that's
John Turturro played him in the movie, and he died in the movie. So,
so good.
Yeah,
so good.
They kill this crew, and then Robin and his crew come upon the king's crew, and he meets Robert of Locksley, or Robert Locksley, the knight that's been by the king's side the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Hey, do me a favor. I'm dying. Give my sword back to my dad." And he's like, "I'll try to."
I also love the gimmick of the blood oath in this.
Mm-hmm.
The sword's messed up, and
there's like a little
do a blood oath.
Yeah, a little spike on where that metal strand is wrapped around the hilt, and there's like a piece of that poking out that scratches him.
The fight scene when they come up to Locksley,
mm-hmm.
Robert Locksley. Sorry, that whole ambush of them shooting it was great. The action in this movie is awesome.
It's really good.
Did you? I don't know the right way to say this without being weird. It's not weird, but the king's horse, the white horse that Russell Crowe has the whole time, it's the same horse from Gladiator.
Well, look at there.
Yeah, his name's George.
That horse lived a long time.
Sure did. I think he lived like 15, 14. That's 10 years apart. Gladiator and this.
Yeah.
Same horse.
Wow, so, good for him.
Remarkable. Yeah.
So they take the basically Robin and his crew put on the knight's clothes because he's like, well, we're not knights. Like, they're going to stop. He's like, how they going to know? Like, only difference between us and them is their clothes. So they meet the ship.
Them clothes, boy.
They get a map from Locksley, and then they meet the ship down at the coast, and then they sail back to England, which is a theme for these movies.
Which I love in these guys' brains. They're going to go home on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're going to go to London. Y'all dumb that they wake
up.
Yeah,
like you're bringing.
Where are we? Outside of London.
That was like they're shocked that they're in London, but you were bringing the crown back to England. Where did you think it was going to go? Meanwhile, we've met Prince John, Who's a prick?
Dude, I forgot that was Oscar Isaac. I totally forgot.
This was the first movie I saw Oscar Isaac in.
He is. I wish he'd find a huge break in something.
Oh, he's done
good stuff.
He's done a lot of stuff,
like,
dude.
I don't know. He kind of sucks. He doesn't. I just feel like he's
suck at all.
Like, no, I love him. He's one of my favorite actors. He's
supposed to be doing a Metal Gear Solid movie with Jordan Voight
That's what I'm
Roberts.
waiting on because he's perfect for it.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like Ryan Reynolds wanting to be Deadpool. This is him being Snake Plissken. So
yeah.
Did you watch? It's not the best Coen Brothers movie. Inside Llewyn Davis.
Yes.
He was great in that. I don't know. I don't know.
Is that a Coen Brothers movie?
I wish he had more stuff, but he's good.
That's a Coen Brothers movie?
He's a great apocalypse. What's that?
That's a Coen Brothers movie?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
You wouldn't. I mean, it's the weirdest. To me, their weirdest movie. It's the most normal movie.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a great apocalypse too.
I mean,
actually, it wasn't that bad. Yeah,
it's just the suit was weird. That whole movie was weird.
I don't know, bad choices. But right away you understand the. Oh, you brought my crown back. That's so sweet. You're from here. You owe me taxes. And I remember this movie all wrong. I won't skip ahead. I thought there were 2 fights at the end. I thought we fought the French and then we fought the English.
Nope.
But no.
So Robin and his band of merry men, they head towards Nottingham because Robin is going to fulfill his oath he made to Robert Locksley and return his sword. And this is where we meet Cate Blanchett as Marion.
It's so hard for me with how she's dressed. I understand this is not how she's dressed, but I'm just like, this is Lord of the Rings. This is freaking Lord of the Rings.
It's not.
It's not. And then I remembered, no, she's whatever the elf thing was. She's not.
She's Galadriel.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty
Here
dumb.
she's
that's okay.
She's farming. So
yeah, not
Robin and
souls in the other movie.
Yeah, Robin and his guys go to Nottingham, where we find out that the sheriff is constantly harassing Marion, who's played by old dude from. I knew him from Deadpool and Wolverine, Paradox.
Oh yeah. Did you know
apparently
that
he's from Succession?
Russell Crowe originally was approached to play 2 roles in the same movie for this.
In this movie?
He was supposed to be the sheriff and Robin Hood.
I think I had read that when they made this movie.
That'd have been so bad.
Yeah, because you're just distracted
by
that.
You ever?
Well, as an audience member, you're just distracted by, oh, that's Russell Crowe too? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
But Robin Locksley's family says, hey, can you just say that you're Robin Locksley and you've come home from war so we don't lose this land and stuff, and then stay around for a little bit? And he agrees to.
That's such a cool twist, by the way. He's blonde, so you're like, oh, he's going to pull one over on him.
Yeah.
And he never lies, and he's just like, you're going to pretend. And then the best thing, too, I never realized until this watch, Marion she wasn't close to her husband at all. Yeah,
she married him like for a week, and he left.
So it's like, oh, whatever. Like, it's not out of love or anything, and not that big a deal. In my head, I'm always like, that's so weird that they forced him to be her husband. And this watch through, I went, oh no, like.
I mean, they fell in love and got married, and then a week later he's gone. He learns to farm, and he learns that they're missing a lot of grain because there's these little orphan boys that live in the woods that keep stealing from the storehouse, and the church has a lot of grain. And this is like the only Robin Hooding he does in the movie.
Yeah.
The church is trying to send it to York, and so he intercepts it, and him and his guys kind of kidnap Friar Tuck, no, Friar Tuck helps him, I think.
Yeah, Friar Tuck's in on it. He tells them everything. He's down to clown, you know?
Yeah.
He's down with the insane clown posse.
So he says, we need to plant this before the sun comes up, because then I can claim it's a miracle to the church that this place is. And he said the church will never deny a miracle. So they plant the grain, and everything's wonderful and good. Until we meet up with Godfrey again, and he's working with the French to help them invade England. Because I guess he's been promised something. This was a different Robin Hood.
Never tell you what.
Yeah, this is a different Robin Hood movie from because the sheriff is like a non-factor, and I guess Prince John is he is a villain, but he doesn't know, he's clueless about what's going on. It's like Godfrey that's the real villain of this movie.
Yeah, and it's weird. That's why that's where I consider it they're building a sequel, because spoilers ahead, whatever you listen to this, you watch the movie, you're going to know about it. The final fight scene, it's ramped up of they're surrendering, and he's like, who are they surrendering to? Not King John. So now he hates Robin Hood.
Oh, yeah.
And then, the sheriff is sheriff, so.
Yeah. Like I said, the sheriff is a non-factor.
It's a weird, I don't know. I guess it's a good retelling or... It's different.
I like the concept of Robin Hood is a commoner that has come back and has been mistaken as this knight, and then is portraying this knight, but is finding a way to help people. That makes more sense to me than an aristocrat that has decided to help the poor.
Yeah,
to me.
Yeah. We don't need no V for Vendetta bullcrap here. So I think we're at the point where talk about Godfrey, the king is getting his taxes. That's why we're back with him.
It's always
hard,
a theme in Robin Hood movies
happening.
where the king is whoever's in charge is incessantly collecting taxes. So Godfrey and these French soldiers have gone around to all the different towns and have sacked them and are collecting taxes for the king. And they make it to... They get warned that they're coming to Nottingham.
Yeah, I don't remember that guy's name.
Marshall.
He's like an insider guy. William Marshall.
Yeah, played by William Hurt.
I always call him,
who was Thunderbolt Ross in MCU. Who is
I didn't pick up on that was William Hurt.
Who's died recently. Or not recently, but he died.
Yeah, that sucks.
Played Ross before Harrison Ford did, so.
How do you think that movie's going to be?
I think it's going to be good.
I do too. And I know they're back into reshoots and re-editing again for the fifth or sixth time, but
every movie that size goes into reshoots. It doesn't matter.
Shoot it once.
No, you can't.
Shoot it.
They schedule reshoots when they schedule these things out. But anyway.
Yeah.
They have a meeting of the barons, basically. It's like, we need to come together and
kill the king.
At least convince the king to, give us some kind of constitution. But on this sword that Robin has brought back, has been this phrase, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. And basically he is told that, hey, your dad was like a philosopher that convinced a lot of these people to revolt back in the day, kind of. And so your dad was very important, and he inspired all these barons and rich guys to help the commoners.
And also, Robin, you saw your father die. You saw it.
Yeah. But Robin has like said like his dad abandoned him his whole life, but in reality hasn't. So the king comes to this meeting of all these barons and says, at the time he promises them, yes, you will have this charter of citizenship or whatever, and you will have, trials with representation, basically a constitution, like we have in the modern day.
Yeah, and Robin's the one that shows up and starts saying, like, if you want to be a good king, this is what you have to do. Mm-hmm. Which I'm dying laughing at, like, what do you know about being a king, Robin Hood? what do you know, boy? I don't know. Logic.
Well, what does a king know about being king other than he was born into it?
Valid.
Yeah.
Valid. I'll let you know when I start my republic.
So Robin Hood goes back to Nottingham, where the Frenchies have boarded all these people up and have collected all the taxes, and they try to rape
that was dark,
Marion.
dude.
Yeah, dude.
That was all that. He kills the blind guy. Sad. Puts the women and children in the daggone barn, bolts it up and lights it on fire. And then this dude's going to ditty. This ain't looking tight.
Try to, and it's PG-13.
Robin
Hood.
I had to look. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Robin Hood comes storming in, saves the day, as usual, because it's called Robin Hood.
Well, the kids of the forest did it first, because they finally pop up and help. Like, okay, it pays off of you didn't quit feeding us or whatever, so.
Yeah, because that's like the opening scene, like Marion is like confronting the kids because they're stealing from her. And she yells at him, "I see you." I was like, okay, we're still going to take your stuff, but
it's mine.
And
so they scare Godfrey off.
Yeah.
And he flocks to a beach. I think that's the Cliffs of Dover. Yeah, that has to be the Cliffs of Dover.
Yeah.
That's the I'm not trying to be racist, but it's the White Cliffs of Dover. It's like the
they are
bottom
they are.
right. Well, yeah, it has to be. Yeah, it's France, so it's the bottom right of England.
Yeah.
Whatever. What do you call that island? I don't even. Whatever. America. That's what you call it.
Britain.
I'm not going to tell you a story I was going to, Preston. I'm going to save you from it. So, that whole scene is so dope. I have so many problems, Preston. All they have to do is stay on the cliffs and just fire arrows until they're done, and they win. Why would you have? I don't know. I guess I get it, but
then you don't have like the people of England running into battle to fight off the Frenchies.
Let me tell you something. Again, the action of this movie on point.
Yeah,
I was sold when Russell Crowe gets done firing arrows and leading them. He strolls up into the fight with a freaking hammer.
A hammer, dog.
And I think like Ridley Scott makes these really. You look at him and you're like, this is stupid. Like Gladiator 2, there's a naval battle that happens. It's historically accurate all the way.
Yeah. Well,
the hammer was like the more.
He tells a story on the first Gladiator movie that some historians got mad at him because in the opening scene, they shoot these flaming arrows and they're like these people that are lighting trenches of fire for people to light their arrows. And he's like, some historians were like, well, you don't have any proof that they did that. And then Ridley Scott fired back and was like, well, fuck it, I just needed them to light arrows. Who cares?
It's a good thing.
I just needed a way to light arrows, dog. Like, I don't care. Who fucking, like, you're going to get
this, though, I was like, oh, he's got that hammer. And I looked it up and I'm like, oh, yeah, the like.
Well, his dad was a mason.
Yeah, that was the other key thing that I didn't put two and two together until this watch.
That's like his dad's hammer. Yeah, that's his dad's hammer.
Yeah, like you hit someone with a sword that has armor, it doesn't do anything. But if you hit him with a hammer,
Yeah, it's gonna hurt.
Woohoo! Smack
So
dabby.
they have the king rides into battle because he wants to be his brother, even if he didn't say it, because he has a line about, was it too much for Richard or whatever.
Yeah.
So Oscar Isaac leads the people of England into battle, and also Marion's there with the Forest Boys. Yeah, that was kind of lame.
Yeah, that was
It was just an excuse
armor.
for Robin Hood to carry her out of the water at the end.
Yeah, and I don't want to see her wet, so skip it.
They fight off the French.
Chainmail ain't sexy, Preston. That's all I'm telling you.
They fight off the French, and they, what Marshall tells the king, like, "Hey, they're surrendering," and he's like, "To who?" And
Ooh, hold on. You're missing my favorite shot of the whole thing. Mark Strong, Godfrey, loses, realizes that the French are retreating. He hightails it. Dude, that arrow shot is so rad.
Oh, yeah. Robin Hood shoots an arrow into
Just picks up someone's bow, picks up someone's arrow, knocks it. That was great.
But, right in his throat. I got Godfrey.
Yeah, it made me feel bad.
So the king is obviously upset because no one's like, yay, the king. They're all like, yay, Robin Hood. We're more loyal to Robin Hood. So after the battle, he goes to sign the Charter of Treaties or whatever it's called. They call it the Charter of something. And he's like, I didn't choose to be king. God made me king. So I'm going to burn this, and you're all going to pay me more taxes because I got what I wanted from you, and Robin Hood's an outlaw. So deal with that.
Yep. I smell bad.
Yeah.
And this wasn't me. This was my other persona. He's an Egyptian god doing all this. It's okay.
Yeah, it's Jake Lockley. It's the assassin. It's not the king.
But that last scene's pretty fun. Sheriff Nottingham's coming to drop some of the heat, and he needs a nail, and we get an arrow popping.
And like it gets into classic Robin Hood stuff without actually doing Robin Hood. Which I guess is kind of...
And this was fun. I like the action, but I wanted to kind of see the nutty Robin Hood stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see... I don't know.
Well, just wait till next week.
6-3.
Yeah, this is a good 6 for me. It's not the best.
Is it? Are we doing Guy Ritchie next week?
No, this isn't Guy Ritchie. It's Taron Egerton.
Okay. Did that just come out?
It came out in 2018.
Boy, I didn't even know this thing existed.
There's a reason.
I thought we were going like...
It's Taron Egerton, Jamie Foxx, Jamie Dornan, Ben Mendelsohn. It's not... I don't know what time period it's supposed to be, but it's not the greatest. It reminded me of the show Arrow. But
Preston, you're a dear friend, okay?
We're not going to enjoy it, I can tell you that.
But I think this is my last podcast because when I see it's produced by Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm out.
Yeah. He does a lot that's like, yeah, I'll put my name on it. I'll produce it.
Man,
he's producing
this is really exciting.
He's producing a Captain Planet movie.
Was Captain Planet doing finding teenagers for Leonardo DiCaprio to date?
Oh shit. Probably.
No, we don't do teenagers. Sorry, he does 19-year-olds. But
the rumor is Glenn Powell's going to be Captain Planet, but who knows?
I'm fine with that. That's cool. Paint
Me
him
too.
blue. No, Don Cheadle's the best Captain Planet. Let's go.
Yeah, that's true. If you haven't seen that clip on
that's
YouTube, you need
funny.
to look that up right now. But
that's the best thing in the world, dude. I love it so much.
To be as long as this movie is, we sure did sum it up pretty quick.
You know what? This movie was too long.
It was like 2.5 hours.
There's so much bloat. That's my only Ridley Scott thing, and it's fun. Like you're watching it, that's great.
Yeah.
You enjoy it. It's like watching Game of Thrones, reading the Game of Thrones book. There's too much detail that doesn't matter. Like so much fluff that
what's
none of this
hilarious
means anything in the end.
You know that movie he did during COVID? It was about medieval rape or whatever, and the different stories of what happened with Adam Driver and Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Exactly.
Did you say medieval rape?
Yeah, that's the whole movie is about rape and whether this woman got
I
raped
didn't
or
catch
not.
that one, dude.
Yeah.
What
He
was
blamed
that called? Prometheus?
No.
Sorry.
He blamed millennials for that movie, and it's like, no, dude, we just came out of COVID. Nobody wanted to watch a movie about rape. Like,
Oh, no.
we didn't want to be sad. But anyway. We now move on to what we watching, what we playing, what we reading.
Well, bud, let me tell you. Come on, let's get a little clap. Preston, the podcast is something good for me, bud. I've watched 2 seasons of Only Murders in the Building.
Look at you.
Pretty great. I hate that I haven't done it yet. I'm
Me
starting
too.
season 3 tonight, probably. So good. I mean, I love Steve Martin. Steve Martin is phenomenal, and Martin Short is too. His humor is not my humor all the time.
No,
but I respect him, and he's awesome.
In this show, he's amazing.
Perfect. I've almost met Steve Martin once.
Look at you.
They filmed their specials in Greenville, him and Martin Short, and I used to live in Greenville. We both did, but before we got married, I was there by myself, and I walked downtown once. It's like the only time I went downtown by myself, and I was just walking around, and there's this guy sitting there with white hair, drinking a coffee. I stopped and I said, "Are you effing Steve Martin?" And he goes, "I'm not doing myself right now, but yes, I am." And I went, "Oh," and just kept walking. Like, what have I done?
Why did you?
And my mom was just like, "That's Steve Martin," and walked away. Could have talked to him. No one bothered him. Whatever. But
you could have had a whole conversation with Steve Martin.
I started a sick HBO show that I am in love with right now called Tokyo Vice.
Oh yeah, that's with dude from
Baby Driver boy.
Yeah.
Can't remember
Ansel Elgort. That's what it is.
Yeah, it is. I'd love Japan, so maybe that's part of it. Like, it's so good.
I love old Japan.
This is Yakuza stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm very specifically like samurai stuff.
Okay. It's like the whole premise is like there's an American that's in Japan. He wants to work for a newspaper.
He works for like a newspaper, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. God, hold on, dude. Let me get the name. I'm gonna say the guy, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, him." Okay, perfect.
Ken Watanabe.
He hasn't been in it much. Thank you, Ken Watanabe. Thank you. I
remember the show being advertised
really
during COVID.
It.
Yeah.
Other than that, started V for Vendetta last night. Didn't finish it. 5th of November.
I watched that yesterday.
Why not?
I had yesterday off, so I watched that yesterday.
That's such a good movie.
It's so great.
And the book's good, too. It's kind of crazy that Alan Moore's such a crazy guy.
He's weird.
Has some of the wildest, like...
He has a fascination with
Batman.
lesbians.
Who doesn't? What?
I'm still watching Penguin. There's only one episode
I thought
left.
you were going to say lesbians.
No.
I don't know why. I thought that's what you're about to say.
I've just been watching lesbians. Like, it's wild.
I saw you the other day out there going, "Y'all some lesbians I'm watching." When does Penguin end? It's coming up, right?
Next week. This coming Sunday is the last episode.
All right. I'm gonna start that next.
I watched Wonka recently. It was delightful. I enjoyed it.
I watched half of it. I need to.
Chalamet.
I need to watch it again.
I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
I didn't hate it, and I know I'm bitter, but Gene is the best. Wonka.
Yeah, and well, this is like
Yeah,
supposed to be all before
different.
that. So yeah, it's not like
it's just
he
hard
owns
for
a
me to
chocolate.
like.
It's not like a remake of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
No, it's
And
being a hustler.
It was the guy that directed the Paddington movies. So,
dude, those are probably some of the best movies I've ever watched.
I've never seen.
Around.
I've never seen them.
They are. Paddington 2 might be the best movie I've ever watched.
Well, there's that joke,
but it's that good.
There's the joke in the Massive Talent movie with Nick Cage where he says his favorite movie is Paddington 2.
He's not joking. Probably it is that good. It is so fun.
Okay. Well, it's another short episode, but it is what it is.
I'll go ahead and say it. I'm gonna say this throughout the month of November. If you've never watched Over the Garden Wall, go watch it. Just go do it.
Over the Garden Wall.
And if you don't watch it, Preston, I'm gonna kill you.
Well, better get your knife ready or whatever you're gonna use to.
I thought you were about to say, "Well, this has been the episode." Only murderers on the podcast.
Yeah. So if you have a suggestion for a movie or TV show we should do, you can send that to secondtakemoviespod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe to YouTube, leave comments wherever you can. I think Spotify just enabled a feature to leave comments, so that's an option.
Hey, you know what I just realized? Sorry, I'm really going way back. William Hurt's in this movie. He was in Dune. Oscar Isaac played the same character he plays in the new Dune.
Well, look at there. Connections all around.
Hey, leave a comment. You're right. Spotify does have comments now, and drop them while they're hot because I've been plopping them on all my favorite podcasts, and no one else is leaving anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's great because people only read what you put, and you can put crazy stuff.
Yeah. So, follow us on Instagram, send emails, subscribe, all that fun stuff, like wherever you can. Jake, you got any final words for the people?
No. Knowing what we're watching next week, I was gonna say, hey, be nice to everybody and just chill out. No, go full riot. After knowing we're gonna watch this heap of garbage, I thought we were watching something different. Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
No, it's not a great movie. So we'll see you next week
with Robin Hood
from 2018.